So Jamie, I'm a big fan. And we are so proud in the state of Minnesota to have Mayo Clinic here. It's our crown jewel. And Mayo Clinic is doing some amazing things, and you're right at the center of it. I mean, it's a big team over there, but you really are crossing verticals and doing some cool things. So let's start by answering the question, how'd you get here? What led you to your position? And introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about that path.
Yeah, absolutely. I would probably take an hour if I went for the full thing, so I'll try to keep it a little bit succinct here. But former founder, started 2 companies, one successful, one not so successful. I think that's a pretty good average. But one thing I learned about myself personally is I suck as a founder. Like, I am terrible. Like, you never want to start a company with me. That's on camera. So but what I had a passion for was to be an ecosystem builder. I started working with the Kauffman Foundation many, many years ago, where that term was first floated to me. And I said, that's the job I love, is being an ecosystem builder. And so my wife had got a job in Rochester, Minnesota, home of the Mayo Clinic. I had actually previously worked there, just through a weird twist of fate. But I came there with my company, and I found the most entrepreneurially unfriendly place I have ever been. This is a town of 127,000 people. 1/3 of them work for Mayo Clinic. It really is a factory town. And I was shocked that in the middle of this amazing health system, there weren't hundreds of startups in a tech park. And so I really took it upon myself, found a small group of other like-minded entrepreneurs to help ignite the ecosystem of Rochester. And that became my passion. And eventually left Mayo Clinic for a second time to start an organization called Collider Foundation. Our focus was to help high-tech, high-growth startups get off the ground in Rochester and grow there. So they didn't just move to the Twin Cities. Hey, Wes. But actually stay and grow in association with Mayo Clinic. So ran that as executive director for almost 5 years, and then ended up finding out that Google was opening its first office, not in Minneapolis or St. Paul, but in Rochester, Minnesota. And I said, why are you guys opening an office here? And they said, well, we're going to be the official cloud provider for Mayo Clinic Platform. And I said, what the heck is that? And so they were nice enough to introduce me to some people. And I learned that Mayo Clinic Platform was this new initiative of Mayo Clinic. We all know Mayo Clinic. We all know that, they get the top hospital ranking in almost every discipline, a worldwide brand. But our CEO, Jean-Rico Ferrugia, said, that's fine for now, but what are we going to be in the next 50 or 100 years? How will Mayo continue to grow? And one of the ways that we think now, as we kind of undergo a bit of a culture shift at Mayo Clinic, is how can we start to think about Mayo Clinic as a player in a much larger ecosystem? We're very good at a lot of different things, but we're not so good at some other stuff. So how can we leverage what we have and work in partnership with others around the world to solve some of the most complex problems in healthcare? And that's really the beginning of Mayo Clinic Platform. One of the first things we started to look at was access to high quality data. And that's something that Mayo gets asked all the time. Can we have access to your EHR data? The answer traditionally, and rightly so with HIPAA and other things, is no, you can't have access to that. And our CEO had the foresight to say, why can't we? And started to, help us think about how we could actually make our data available. And so that was our first initiative, which was to de-identify Mayo's entire electronic medical record, push it into the cloud, and make it available for solution developers around the world, especially in digital health and AI, to train, enhance, and validate their AI models. So along with that, we wanted to make sure that this program that we were building was really accessible to everyone. And so that's where the idea of an accelerator started. And that's when, just perfect timing, where Google introduced me to some people at Mayo Clinic. And they said, we're creating an accelerator. Would you want to come back and help us design it? And I didn't know I was going to lead it at that point. I was just one of the team. But they wanted me to come back and kind of share some of my experience as an ecosystem builder and really to help them focus on companies first and to build a program that would really be a value add for companies. And so about 2.5 years ago, left my baby nonprofit and moved back to Mayo Clinic. And it's been a wonderful experience. I've enjoyed every moment of it. And it allows me to be an ecosystem builder at a little different level. Suddenly, I'm not just focused on Minnesota and the success in Minnesota. Now I'm focused on success for companies all over the world, which is really exciting. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about the program.
I think that's great. Mayo Clinic has been a supporter of the bullpen. Now Jamie's here and supporting us in a way because Mayo is a group that probably everybody in this room would like to have some sort of relationship with, most everybody.
I'll be here all day.
We've been fortunate to have Sami Yusuf attend our events and Andy Danielson. And I think this energy that you're bringing to Mayo, and I've seen it evolve over the last 10 years as well. Mayo can be a tough place to do business with, right? And you are bringing in this different discipline. How many cohorts have you had now come through your program?
So we've been around for about a little over 2 years. And we started out cohort-based, like many accelerators, and we've run 4 cohorts in the last 2 years. That's about 32 companies who have graduated through our program. This year we did something different. We're really big on taking, standing on the shoulders of giants, as they would say. We look at other accelerator programs and we say, how can we do something different? And so this year, what we've decided to do is an on-demand model. So we no longer do cohorts. We vet our companies and they can start immediately in our program. And we've designed a program that's really flexible with educational offerings as well as access to various experts at Mayo Clinic. And it's worked out really well. So right now we have 10 more companies as of this morning who are now joining us in part of the program. So it's a really exciting time and really a lot of fun.
And Mayo becomes an investor in the company, in the cohort, right?
Yep.
Which is an awesome group to have on your cap table, I think.
Doesn't hurt.
Also, just thinking through what your needs might be, if especially someone in the bullpen wants to get involved, how do they do that? Can you explain the process? And also, do you have certain verticals that you're looking at? I assume you would value an AI element. Digital health is probably a big deal. How about pharma or drug development? Talk about your mandate as an accelerator.
Yeah, so it's a bit broad, right? Because what we can offer is we're less of a business accelerator and more of a product accelerator. Because our unfair advantage is we have access to this amazing data set, expertise, as well as other solutions that we're developing at Mayo Clinic to offer these companies. And so, if you can imagine a company that needs specific data or expertise and it exists in an electronic health record, we can probably find a way to work with you. So that's very broad. But that's really one of our key criteria that we look for in the companies is can they utilize our data? As far as we do want an AI component to what companies do, I think not surprising to anyone in this audience, even if you're a device company or a pharma company, you're starting to think about AI if you not already have created products. So we're seeing some more overlap, which is really good for our program. Pharma is something we're working on. And that's something that I think maybe you'll hear some announcements in the next month or two.
Okay. Well, all of you have your little handheld computer. It's also a camera. When you have these folks up here and you're listening, taking a picture of Jamie, putting it out there, including a link to the platform. Bullpen does a really nice job of amplifying each other's initiatives. So I think they need more apps, more applications coming in. Yep. They'd like to probably elevate their portfolio every cohort that they bring in, or no more cohort approach. So individually. So I would just say, spread the word about what's going on with Jamie and at Mayo Clinic Platform. And appreciate you being here very much. I'm glad you're going to be here all day. And I hope you make some great connections, Jamie.
Yeah, happy to talk to anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.